addiction does not define you, but it should also never be something that you're ashamed of. Because when we understand addiction and we look at the neurological changes, we look at the clinical definition and the DSM-5, and we understand that, say, a brain scan of someone with addiction compared to somebody who isn't is completely different. So it is a disorder technically. It is an illness. You would never have shame around, having cancer or having many other illnesses, physical or mental. And just because we're so outdated in terms of the stigma, mental health, that is a failure of the system. That's not a failure of you. And if you're somebody who has struggled with addiction, who has overcome addiction, who is honest and in acceptance about something, then that just talks to your bravery and your strength. And it may not define you, but it can certainly be worn as a badge of honor. Because I share very openly that I'm in recovery from alcoholism, and it has made me who I am. And I would not be in this place, in this moment, living this purpose-filled life, talking to you, had I not walked the journey to get to where I am now. And yes, are there things that I regret? I don't know, maybe remorse, things I could have done better. Hence why this channel, I'm sharing some of my learning so that other people don't have to suffer in the same way, can hopefully get to these conclusions sooner than I did. But it certainly doesn't define me in a negative sense. It's something that I can share openly. I personally am open to talking about it. Not everyone is. But I really want to bring home that there is this hideous stigma around mental health and addiction, and it is something that defines who you are. But it's merely a little part of your journey, of what's made you who you are. If someone says to me, hey Kylie, what's your story? I'll tell them about who I am and where I live and how I show up on this planet. I don't tell them about my occupation. It's who you are inside that matters. And alcoholism and addiction in general can really, on that path, you don't meet a wise person who hasn't lived a life of adversity. You just don't. So if you have struggled and suffered with addiction, then that's something you can absolutely be proud of. And also, it doesn't define in any way, shape or form who you are. If anything, it just gives you a little bit a better chance of being a more compassionate and loving person.